I overheard my husband plotting to steal my $50 million business in our divorce. So I transferred everything to my mother, filed for bankruptcy, and left him stuck with all the debt. Welcome, family. Please subscribe if you like stories like this. Say hello in the comments and tell us where you're from. With that, let's get back to our story. I swear I didn't mean to eavesdrop. There I was standing outside Justin's office at 11 p.m., holding the chamomile tea I'd made for his late-night conference call, when I heard my husband's voice seeping through the crack in the door. She built it from scratch, he said. Yeah, but legally half of it's mine. My lawyer says we're looking at a minimum of $25 million in the settlement. My hands started trembling. The tea sloshed all over my silk robe. Justin, you're so brilliant, a woman's voice purred. It was Sienna, his new associate. Once the divorce is finalized, we can finally be together. No more sneaking around. My heart just stopped. 15 years of marriage. 15 years of supporting his failed business ventures while my sustainable fashion company, Empress Threads, went from my grandmother's sewing machine to a $50 million empire. I had even mortgaged our home to fund his tech startup that went belly up. I worked 70-hour weeks while pregnant with our daughter Laura because his consulting business never actually materialized. The timing couldn't be better, Justin continued. She just signed those expansion contracts. The business is valued higher than ever. My attorney says her emotional attachment will make her settle quickly rather than drag Laura through a nasty court battle. I backed away silently, my mind racing. This man I'd loved, supported, built a life with was strategically planning to ruin me. Not because of love lost but for cold, hard profit. And he was using our 12-year-old daughter as leverage. That night I couldn't sleep a wink. I sat in Laura's doorway, watching her chest rise and fall as she slept. Her braids were splayed across her pillow. She adored her father. This was going to crush her, but I couldn't let him win. I had built Empress Threads with my own blood, sweat, and tears, with relentless determination. By dawn I knew exactly what I had to do. People always asked how I managed to build a $50 million company by the time I was 37. The answer wasn't glamorous at all. It was my grandmother Loretta's voice echoing in my head at 4 a.m. We don't wait for opportunities, baby girl, we create them. Grandma Loretta raised me after my parents were killed in a car accident when I was just 8 years old. She juggled 3 jobs, took night classes, and somehow always found time to teach me how to sew. Her cramped apartment always smelled like fabric softener and ambition. Education and ownership, she'd say, threading her ancient Singer sewing machine. That's how we break the cycle. I got a full scholarship to design school, worked retail to pay for materials, and launched Empress Threads from her living room when I was 22. Justin came into my life 3 years later at a business networking event. He was handsome, charming, and ambitious. He said he admired my drive. He called me his queen. And I believed him. Our wedding was small but perfect. Grandma Loretta cried during her toast. You found a man who sees your crown, baby. If only she'd lived long enough to see the truth. She passed away 2 years ago from a sudden stroke. I inherited her small house, her sewing machine, and a safety deposit box containing $20,000 she'd somehow managed to save for emergencies. Her note read simply, "Trust your instincts." Justin had seemed genuinely grief-stricken. He held me tight through the funeral, handled all the estate paperwork, and even suggested I take some time off. I thought I had married my soulmate. Now, as I stared at the family photos lining our hallway, I finally saw the pattern. He proposed right after my first major investor meeting. He wanted another baby right when my second location opened. He'd been positioning himself all along. My phone buzzed, a reminder from Laura's school. Parent-teacher conferences were next week. I had to protect her from this whole mess. No matter what happened, she couldn't find out that her father was a calculating predator. I called in sick for the first time in 5 years. Justin kissed my forehead, concern etched perfectly across his face. Just rest, honey. I'll handle Laura's drop-off. His tenderness made my stomach churn. How long had he been faking it? After his car was out of sight, I tore through his office. His laptop was password protected, but Justin was predictable. I tried Laura's birthday, our anniversary, his mother's name. Nothing worked. Then I remembered. He'd changed it last month, claiming his company required security updates. I typed in Sienna 2024. The screen unlocked. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through his emails. 6 months of correspondence with divorce attorney Jonathan Lincoln. Detailed asset valuations of Empress threads. Screenshots of my business bank accounts. How did he even get access to those? Then I found it. An email to his brother Derek titled, Exit Strategy. I've been documenting everything for the past 18 months. Her crazy work hours, her emotional unavailability, even the therapy suggestions she declined. Lincoln says we can paint her as married to the business, completely neglectful of her family. Judges favor fathers. I'll get custody leverage and a generous financial settlement. She'll even have to pay alimony since I sacrificed my career to support hers. The gaslighting blueprint was meticulous. Every concerned comment about my work hours, every suggestion that I was missing Laura's childhood, every criticism wrapped in a thin veneer of caring, was calculated groundwork. I photographed everything, emailed copies to a new secret account, and then cleared the laptop's history. Next I called my mother, Diane. We hadn't spoken in 3 years. After Grandma Loretta died, Mama had shown her true colors, demanding money, claiming I'd always been the favorite grandchild who stole her inheritance. I'd cut her off for my own sanity. Diane speaking, her voice was sharp. Mama, it's me. I need your help. It's an emergency. Silence hung in the air. What kind of emergency requires money? Despite everything, she was still my mother. And I needed someone Justin would never suspect was my ally. I need you to trust me completely. Diane met me at a coffee shop across town, her designer purse clashing with her careworn face. My mother had always wanted more out of life than she got. Marrying my father, a postal worker, had felt like settling. His death had left her bitter, jealous of Grandma Loretta's relationship with me. You look terrible, she said, before ordering the most expensive latte on the menu. Classic Diane. I need you to hold on to something for me. Legal paperwork, business documents. Justin can't know anything about it. I slid a folder across the table. If anything happens to me, these go directly to my attorney. Her eyes narrowed. What's going on? Are you in trouble? I explained everything. Justin's affair, his divorce strategy, the 18 months of secret documentation. To my surprise, Mama's expression shifted from suspicion to pure, unadulterated fury. That son of a bitch, she hissed. After everything you've built, men like him are nothing but leeches. Her hand covered mine, and I felt an unfamiliar warmth. Loretta always said you were stronger than me. Prove her right, baby. What do you need me to do? Something inside me cracked open. We might never have the mother-daughter relationship I always wanted, but blood was still thicker than water. I need you to become a ghost. Open a new bank account. Don't tell anyone where you're staying. In 2 weeks, I'm transferring assets to you. It'll look suspicious, but by then it won't even matter. You're hiding your money from him. I'm protecting what I've built. He wants to take half of my life's work just because he slept in my bed. Not on my watch. Diane actually smiled, something predatory and proud flickering in her eyes. You're finally fighting like a woman with absolutely nothing to lose. It's about damn time. We spent the next 3 hours meticulously planning. Diane would establish an LLC in her name, open business accounts at 3 different banks, and prepare to receive wire transfers. She'd document everything. Dates, amounts, purposes. Thank you, Mama. She squeezed my hand. Make him regret the day he underestimated you. Gerald Sampson wasn't your typical divorce attorney. The 60-year-old black man had built his reputation on representing women in high-asset divorces, especially those involving business ownership. Framed articles adorned his office walls. The pitbull of family court. Protector of entrepreneurs. Mrs. Edwards, his handshake was firm. Your voicemail sounded urgent. I laid everything out for him. Recordings of Justin's conversations, screenshots from his laptop, the 18-month documentation plan. Gerald's expression remained neutral, but his jaw visibly tightened. May I speak candidly? He asked. Please do. Your husband is executing a textbook financial abuse strategy. The documentation painting you as neglectful, positioning himself as the sacrificial spouse. I've seen it destroy women. But you've got something most of them don't. Advanced knowledge and solid evidence. What are my options? Gerald leaned back in his chair. Legally protect your assets. File first, go to war. But you mentioned transferring everything to your mother. That's fraudulent conveyance. A judge will unravel it, possibly sanction you, and Justin's attorney will crucify you for hiding assets. My heart sank. So, I just let him take half of my business? I didn't say that. Gerald's smile was sharp. I said it's risky, but risk can be managed with proper documentation and legitimate business reasoning. If your mother becomes a genuine business partner with actual responsibilities, if the transfers serve valid corporate purposes, if you can prove business necessity rather than divorce avoidance, that's a different story entirely. How's that company restructuring going for the expansion you mentioned? Create a parent holding company owned by you and your mother as partners. Transfer Empress Threads assets into that company as a capital contribution. Establish your mother as COO with actual duties. Pay her appropriately. Make it 100% legitimate. Before you file for divorce, before he files, you need to move fast. How soon can your mother be operational? She's ready now. Gerald nodded. Then we have work to do, but understand this will get ugly. Justin will fight dirty. Are you prepared for that? I thought of Laura, of Grandma Loretta's legacy, of the 15 years I'd spent supporting a man who saw me as nothing more than a retirement plan. I'm done playing nice. The next week was a blur of paperwork and acting. I maintained perfect normalcy at home, cooking Justin's favorite meals, asking about his day, playing the part of the loving wife. At night, I worked with Gerald and a corporate attorney named Pamela Jefferson, restructuring my empire. Empress Threads Holdings LLC was born. Diane and I were 50-50 partners. She even took actual corporate training courses, learned our supply chain, attended vendor meetings via video conference. We created legitimate paper trails, employment contracts, salary agreements, operational responsibilities. This is actually fascinating, Diane admitted during a late-night Zoom call. She was studying our manufacturing partnerships. I never realized how complex your business actually was. Most people don't. They see fashion and think it's all fluff. It's supply chain logistics, labor negotiations, market analysis, financial forecasting. And your husband thinks he deserves half of it just because he existed near it. Her disgust was palpable. How's Laura? Oblivious, thank God. She's excited about her science fair project. Justin has been extra attentive lately, taking her to practice, helping with her homework. My voice cracked, building his involved father evidence. That bastard. When do we transfer the assets? Tomorrow. All inventory, intellectual property, contracts, and operational funds move into the holding company. Empress Threads becomes a subsidiary. Legally clean, business justified. And then I file for divorce before he does. Gerald's serving the papers Friday morning. Justin won't even know what hit him. That night, Justin held me close in bed, his arms wrapped around my waist. I love you, he whispered. You know that, right? I stared into the darkness, my heart feeling like a cold stone. I know. We should plan a vacation. Just the two of us. Laura can stay with my mom. We need some time to reconnect. That sounds nice. Each word tasted like ash. He kissed my shoulder and drifted off to sleep. I lay awake, counting down the hours until my liberation. Friday morning, Justin was whistling in the shower. He had a meeting scheduled with Jonathan Lincoln at 10 a.m. His divorce attorney, even though I wasn't supposed to know. I checked his calendar. Today was supposed to be the day he filed, the day he served me at work for maximum humiliation and leverage. I'd filed Thursday night. An emergency hearing was secured for temporary custody arrangements. At 9 a.m., a process server arrived at our door. Justin answered in his bathrobe, coffee cup in hand. Can I help you? Justin Edwards? You've been served. The man handed him the papers and left. I watched from the kitchen doorway as Justin's face went through a rapid transformation. Confusion, shock, then pure rage. What the hell is this? Divorce papers. I'm filing first. His eyes locked onto mine, wild and desperate. Honey, what are you talking about? This is insane. We can work through whatever this is. I heard you, Justin. 3 weeks ago. Your office. 11 p.m. You and Sienna plotting how to take my business. Using Laura as leverage. Painting me as a neglectful mother. My voice was as cold as ice. I know everything. The mask shattered completely. His face contorted into something ugly, unfamiliar. You were spying on me? I was bringing you tea. You were plotting to destroy my life. That business is half mine. I sacrificed my career for you. I raised our daughter while you obsessed over your company. Spittle flew from his mouth. You're a selfish bitch who cares more about money than her own family. There was the real Justin finally. Get out. This is my house. It's in my name. Purchased with my money before we were even married. Gerald made damn sure I knew my rights. You have 1 hour to pack your essentials. Everything else will be settled through our attorneys. Justin grabbed my arm, his grip bruising. You think you're so smart? I've been documenting your neglect for 18 months. Any judge will see that you're an unfit mother. I yanked my arm free, my voice steady despite my racing heart. And I have recordings of you admitting that this divorce is all about money and your affair. Touch me again and I'm calling the cops. 45 minutes starting now. He stared at me, maybe actually seeing me clearly for the first time. Then he laughed, a cold, bitter sound. You'll regret this. I'll take everything. Laura came home from her friend's house just as Justin was loading his car. She stood frozen, her backpack sliding off her shoulder. Daddy, what's going on? My heart shattered as I watched her face crumble. Justin knelt down, his expression suddenly soft. The performance was back on. Hey pumpkin. Daddy and Mommy need some time apart, but I'll see you all the time, okay? This doesn't change how much I love you. Are you getting divorced? Her voice was so small. I wanted to scream the truth. Your father is a liar who tried to steal from us. Instead, I knelt down beside her. We're having grown-up problems, baby. But you are loved and you are safe. That never changes. Is it because of Mommy's work? Laura's eyes accused me. Because she's always busy? The knife twisted in my gut. Justin had been poisoning her against me for months. No, sweetheart. Sometimes adults just grow apart. It's complicated. Justin hugged her tight, whispered something I couldn't hear, then loaded his final box into the car. I'll call you tonight, Laura. I love you. He shot me a venomous look. My attorney will be in touch. After he drove away, Laura ran to her room and slammed the door. I stood in the hallway listening to her sob, unable to comfort her without revealing truths that would hurt even more. My phone buzzed. It was Gerald. How'd it go? He's gone. Laura hates me. Give her time. Kids are resilient. How are you holding up? I'm numb. Is that normal? Completely. The adrenaline will crash soon. Do you have someone who can stay with you tonight? I called Diane. She arrived an hour later with groceries, wine, and a surprising amount of gentleness. We cooked dinner together while Laura stayed isolated upstairs. Should I try talking to her? Diane asked. Let her process. She'll come down when she's ready. At 8 p.m. Laura appeared, red-eyed and sniffling. I'm hungry. We ate in heavy silence. Finally, Laura spoke. Daddy said you care more about your business than us. Is that true? Diane answered before I could. Your mother built something incredible, so you'd never have to struggle like she did. That's love, honey. Not neglect. Laura's eyes welled up with tears again. Then why is Daddy leaving? Because sometimes people aren't who we think they are. Justin's attorney, Jonathan Lincoln, was everything Gerald had predicted. Aggressive, condescending, and seriously underestimating me. Our first mediation session was brutal. Mrs. Edwards, you restructured your company just days before filing for divorce, Lincoln said. His smile sharp and condescending. That's a textbook case of asset hiding. We're filing a motion to freeze all accounts and reverse those transfers. Gerald didn't even flinch. My client executed a legitimate business expansion that required additional operational leadership. Her mother has decades of business experience and brought significant capital investment to the table. The restructuring serves valid corporate purposes and is meticulously documented. Convenient timing. Mr. Edwards planned his divorce filing for 18 months, documenting alleged neglect to maximize his settlement and custody leverage. That's calculated, premeditated financial abuse. My client was simply defending herself from his predatory actions. Lincoln's smile faltered for just a moment. You have absolutely no proof of any of that. Gerald calmly slid copies of the recordings, emails, and screenshots across the table. Your client's own words, planning to use his daughter as a weapon, targeting his wife's business assets, conducting an affair with a subordinate, and gaslighting his spouse about her parenting. Judge Morrison will find all of this extremely fascinating. The blood drained from Lincoln's face. Justin, sitting beside him, looked absolutely murderous. That was obtained illegally from my personal laptop, in my marital home where my client had every legal right to be. Try again. The session ended with Lincoln requesting a private consultation with Justin. I knew exactly what was happening. They were frantically recalculating their strategy now that their victim had grown some teeth. Outside, Gerald squeezed my shoulder reassuringly. You did great. You stayed calm and didn't engage emotionally. He's rattled. What happens now? He'll push for a business valuation, claim emotional distress, and possibly file a civil suit for fraud. We just stay aggressive but keep everything completely clean. How's the business actually doing? I hesitated. We're losing major clients. Our biggest retailer just dropped us this morning. They cited instability concerns related to the divorce. I'm losing partnerships that I spent years building. Gerald's expression turned grim. That's not coincidental. Justin might be actively sabotaging you, spreading rumors to devalue the business before the settlement. Document everything. My empire was burning to the ground, and Justin was holding the matches. The sabotage was systematic. Within 2 weeks, I'd lost 40% of my retail partnerships. Anonymous complaints flooded our social media accounts, alleging unethical business practices and financial instability. Industry contacts suddenly stopped returning my calls. Then Diane called, her voice shaking. Someone's digging into my finances. A private investigator contacted my bank, asking about large recent deposits. They're building a fraud case. Lincoln's trying to prove that the restructuring was illegitimate. Stay calm. Everything's documented. But the pressure was crushing me. Laura barely spoke to me. She'd started therapy, but Justin was using it to document my negative impact on her mental health. Meanwhile, Empress Threads was hemorrhaging money. Investors were getting nervous. My CFO, Jennifer, requested a meeting. We need to discuss our options, she said, her usual warmth replaced by a professional distance. Revenues are down 62%. Operational costs haven't adjusted accordingly. We're burning through our reserves. How long can we sustain this? 3 months, maybe 4. Then we're looking at layoffs or even closure. The company I'd built from nothing was dying a slow, agonizing death. And Justin was getting exactly what he wanted. My total and utter destruction. That night, I sat in my home office, surrounded by Grandma Loretta's quilts, old photos, and memories of building something beautiful. My phone rang. It was an unknown number. Hello, Mrs. Edwards. This is Detective Maria Santos. I need to speak with you about some financial irregularities involving your business. My blood ran cold. Excuse me? Your husband filed a report claiming you're hiding assets, committing fraud, and potentially laundering money through your mother. We need you to come down to the station for questioning. Justin hadn't just destroyed my business, he'd criminalized me. The man I'd loved, trusted, and built a life with was now trying to put me in prison. I called Gerald, my hands shaking uncontrollably. He reported me to the police. Gerald's sigh was heavy. It's an escalation tactic. Don't panic. They'll investigate, find everything legitimate, and it'll backfire on him. But you need to cooperate fully. Gerald, I can't go to jail. Laura needs me. You won't. Trust the process. But trust was a long dead ember in my mouth. The police interview lasted for grueling hours. Detective Santos grilled me about every business transaction from the past 2 years, scrutinizing the restructuring, Diane's involvement, cash flows, everything. I answered honestly, provided documentation, and maintained my composure, even as terror clawed at my throat. Your husband seems convinced you're committing fraud, Santos said, her dark eyes assessing my every move. My husband is trying to steal my life's work, and is willing to destroy me to do it. Check his bank accounts. You'll find payments to Sienna Rodriguez, his mistress, totaling over $30,000. Money he took from our joint accounts without my knowledge. Santos's eyebrow arched slightly. You're accusing him of theft? I'm stating facts. He's cheating, lying, and now filing false police reports. That's harassment, detective. After I left the station, Gerald called with more bad news. Lincoln's pushing for an emergency custody modification. He claims you're too unstable under criminal investigation, potentially facing charges. He wants Justin to have primary custody of Laura. He's even using his own false police report as evidence. It's dirty, but it's strategic. Judge Morrison isn't buying it completely, but it's creating mud. That's the whole point. Make everything so ugly that you'll settle just to make it stop. That night I completely broke down. Sitting in Laura's doorway watching her sleep, I realized that Justin might actually win. Not because he deserved to, but because he was willing to sink lower than I could possibly imagine. He'd destroy his own daughter's mother just to make a profit. I called Diane at 2 a.m., sobbing uncontrollably. I can't do this anymore. He's going to win. Listen to me, Mama said, her voice fierce. Loretta raised you to be a fighter. This man is trying to break you because he knows if you stay strong, you'll destroy him. Don't give him that kind of power. I'm losing everything. Then burn it all down. If he wants your empire, give him nothing but ashes. Something crystallized in my despair. Justin wanted my business to steal it. But what if there was no business left to steal? Mama, how would you feel about filing for bankruptcy? Silence stretched on for a long moment. Tell me what you're thinking. Filing for bankruptcy wasn't surrender. It was warfare. Gerald connected me with a brilliant bankruptcy attorney named Denise Clark, a true strategist who immediately understood what I was trying to do. Chapter 11. Reorganization. Denise explained. You're not liquidating, you're seeking debt protection while you restructure. But here's the creative part. You transfer operational control to your mother, establish yourself as a salaried employee, and restructure ownership. Will it work? It protects your assets from the divorce settlement. Justin can't take half of a company that's under bankruptcy protection. The court controls everything. And if your business is legitimately failing due to his deliberate sabotage, you've already got the documentation to prove it. It took 3 weeks to prepare. I meticulously documented every lost contract, every client who cited the divorce as the reason for leaving, every piece of Justin's sabotage campaign. Meanwhile, I transferred all remaining liquid assets to Diane, as per our partnership agreement. Legally sound, business justified, and untouchable. Justin found out through his attorney. His rage was nuclear. He showed up at my house, pounding on the door at midnight. You fucking bitch. You're bankrupting the company rather than give me what I'm owed? I opened the door, my phone already recording. I'm protecting my business from a predator. Leave now or I'm calling the police. You're insane. That business is worth $50 million. Was worth $50 million before you started sabotaging it. Before your affair, your lies, your schemes destroyed partnerships. You killed it, Justin. I'm just burying the corpse. The judge will see right through this. The judge will see a woman whose business collapsed under the stress of her husband's betrayal and his systematic sabotage. I have all the documentation to back that up. You have nothing but greed. Justin's face twisted in rage. For a split second, I thought he was actually going to hit me. Instead, he leaned in close, his breath hot and reeking of alcohol. You've destroyed everything. Our own daughter will hate you forever. You'll lose custody, lose your business, and end up with absolutely nothing. Was your stupid pride even worth all of this? It's not about pride. You tried to steal 15 years of my hard work simply because you're a pathetic failure who married success instead of actually building something yourself. Piss me off, Justin. Destroying what I built is infinitely better than letting you profit from my pain. He turned and stormed off. I collapsed against the door, shaking uncontrollably. The truth was devastating. I'd likely lose everything anyway, but at least Justin wouldn't get to win. 6 months later, I sat in the bankruptcy. In court, Judge Harris carefully went over my reorganization plan. Empress Threads Holdings was now officially restructured. Diane held a 60% stake. I was a salaried employee with 30%. The remaining 10% was placed in a trust for Laura. She couldn't touch it until she turned 25. Justin received absolutely nothing. No business assets, and no settlement beyond splitting the equity in our house. Judge Morrison's words in the divorce decree were scathing. Mr. Edwards's documented attempts to manipulate the legal system, file false reports, and sabotage his wife's business demonstrate a character that is wholly unbecoming of joint custody. Primary physical custody was awarded to me. I had won legally, but the victory felt like ashes in my mouth. Empress Threads was just a ghost of what it once was. We employed only 15 people, a huge drop from 80. Our revenue was down by 70%. My reputation in the industry was permanently tarnished. Most days I questioned whether just surviving was worth such a terrible price. Laura, now 13, was in intensive therapy. She understood so much more now. Gerald had shown her age-appropriate evidence of Justin's schemes. She had stopped blaming me, but the damage to our relationship was profound. She was polite but distant, grieving for the father she thought she knew. "Mom's bringing dinner," I told her one evening. Laura just nodded, her attention fixed on her homework. Diane arrived with groceries and an unexpected warmth. Our relationship had been transformed through the crisis. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. "How are you holding up, baby?" "Surviving." I spoke with Justin's attorney today. He's trying to modify the custody agreement again. "He'll never stop." Diane squeezed my hand. "But neither will we." That night, lying in bed, I thought about Grandma Loretta. Would she be proud of me? I had protected her legacy, but in the process I had almost destroyed it. Laura was safe, but she was also broken. I had won the war but lost almost everything that truly mattered. My phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. "Your story inspired me to leave my abusive husband. Thank you for showing me what strength really looks like, survival, not perfection." Tears streamed down my face. Maybe that was enough. Maybe just surviving, even bloody and broken, was a victory in itself. Justin had tried to take everything from me. I'd made sure he got nothing but debt and the consequences of his actions. The cost was everything I had built. But I was still standing. Loretta would definitely call that winning. Outside, rain started to fall, washing nothing away in that moment, but promising that eventually, somewhere, something new might grow in the scorched earth that I had created. I had burned my empire to the ground to save my soul. And now in the ashes I was slowly learning to breathe again.